Okay. We'll call the meeting to order for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. Do we have a request for staff confirmation in the Kansas Open Meetings Act?
It was.
Thank you. Roll call.
Kevin Janaszek.
Ann Zimmerman.
Ashley Campbell.
Larry Pankratz.
Paul Gebhardt.
John Miller.
And I don't see any guests. So we have, looks like we have some people interested for the Citizens Forum, right? Correct? Yep, go ahead and state your name and come on up.
My name is Linda Reynolds, and I'm here. I was concerned with your 27-page agenda that I'd printed off and read before I came, and you don't make any mention of the dog park. I am here just on behalf of Barkley Dog Park and all of our little visitors we have up there to make sure you don't forget about us and that we stay on your agenda for improvements. I just am here to remind you because you don't want a whole bunch of us here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think there might have been some in the minutes, but we may not have
Some of the staff report.
It was in the staff report, you say?
There's at least one item I just saw in the staff report.
Okay.
Rosemary Mai. Can you tell us anything that you might be doing now? Besides where you put the emergent on and fill the low spots with dirt?
Yes.
Are you doing anything else?
So what we're doing, I pulled the benches from there, so we're going to redo those up there where the ones that's closed.
Yeah, we saw that.
Okay, and then we'll go in there and do another pre-emergent later in this early spring.
Okay.
So other than that, that's about all we have.
So you haven't started any work on maybe some of the requests that we asked for shades and moving the
The
gathering
shade structure
area.
funding isn't valid until 2025.
Oh, okay.
So I can't move on projects I don't have authorization to spend.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I know that you had asked for that drop-off to be filled, and that's one of the things that they did.
Oh, there's Bruce.
Anybody else? Bruce said I should go ahead.
Since he was already started, he
Right.
might as well
Yep.
finish it.
That's up to you two.
Okay. Approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a approval of the agenda in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, same sign. Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Activity reports, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Pankratz. A few items that I want to point out, and it certainly I'd be available for any questions or other staff who wish to go into more detail about anything else. But I'll just highlight a few items that I wanted to discuss. Under Parks accomplishments, I think I owe you some information about what a point-in-time count is for the park staff. Point-in-time is a city exercise to, it's also commonly known, or we know it as a PIT count, P-I-T, but it's a point-in-time count to evaluate the number of people that are in our community that don't have homes or what would be homeless. So that data is important for the city to collect because we report those numbers for grant funding or to the state of Kansas or for federal government to acquire funds to do programs relating to the number of homeless people we have in this community. So landscaping, as you can see, there's a lot of trimming of shrubs and mulching and cleaning up of beds in preparation for winter. and some work that you can see reseeding on Diamond 1 at Bill Burke. That grass is really coming in really nice. It's beautiful looking from when you drive by Crawford. Applied that second round of pre-emergent at Barclay Park. And let's see, forestry. They're planting trees. This is the time of year where we get really good deals on trees, and we start planting trees because it's a great time to plant trees. Let's see. Kenwood Cove. We still have, if you probably haven't noticed, and maybe you have, but there is currently, and it's not going to be there much longer, there's still water in the lap pool of the Kenwood Cove Aquatic Park. And we did have a concrete aggregate product be reapplied or replaced in the lap pool, and that requires a cure time underwater of at least 30 days. More time is better, so it cures better. And then during that time, we brush it as it cures to give it that nice non-slip consistency, but not rough. So the more we brush it, the better it turns out. We are preparing this week to drain the lap pool for the winter. Therapeutic recreation, staff hosted Special Olympics regional tournament at the field house for Zephyr Cornhole, I believe. Yep. Special events, we have Halloween party coming up, October 26th. Under golf, the 5A Girls State Golf Tournament is this coming weekend. So the golf staff have been heavily involved in preparing the golf course for that. I met the golf course staff a few weeks back with our facility maintenance tech. We have, I'm sure some of you know this, that have been around for a while, the portions of the golf course were at one point in time a landfill for the community. So some of those areas tend to sink. And we have sidewalks going through the golf course, trail carts, if you will. And they're sinking, so we went out there to make a plan to jack those up with a foam jacking product. Pretty significant drop in some of those trail carts or sidewalks, so we're getting ready to help them out to jack some of those up.
Jeff, is there still trash coming up too? At one time there used to be.
The golf staff reported that when they dug recently, not even a foot down, that they found, bottles and aluminum and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, they had to move that one green, I don't know how many years ago, because it kept having stuff come up on it.
I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, if Travis wants to talk about field house and athletics, I'd be happy to let him do so.
Sure. Thank you, Jeff. We got some new board members here, so I'll try to explain a few things. We do have adult volleyball program that runs year round, all 4 seasons. It's pretty popular. It's very strong. So we got 26 teams in there in the field house this fall. We do have a youth volleyball program too that's on Sundays, very strong. Maybe some of you are not aware of this, but Smoky Valley homeschool program has kind of made the field house their home, starting in August and all the way through March with their volleyball and basketball. So it's been a very good fit for both parties. And they do a basketball tournament that's, I think, 50-some teams. It's a big one. And that's for basketball, and what we're trying to do is mimic volleyball to do the same. So this year we're having the first year of a tournament for them, and it's at 20 teams. So very good start, and we anticipate that getting bigger for the years to come. Tyler runs an awesome little NFL flag football program. It's in and on the turf, and those kids, they're in their NFL jerseys. They just think it's the highlight of their lives. So we've got that figured out. that is a good example of a program that we have to cap. We just have to cap the number of teams because of officials, and I think we've got that figured out, but 12 teams is all we can accept for that, and then we get requests for many more, but that we have to do that because of officials. So in case you guys get questioned on that. Events, I think Jeff mentioned this, but we did have our first annual Special Olympics Cornhole Tournament. That was a pretty cool event. And just like a lot of our other events that we've experienced the first time, we don't mind it small, to be honest with you, to figure out the ins and outs of it. And then the following year, they usually double, if not triple. So we're anticipating that event to follow suit. Outdoor athletics, we're very, very busy outdoors. I think I mentioned this, that Dave Adecourt, he was a recreation supervisor for us for 5 to 6 years. He did move away, followed his grandkids, and did an outstanding job for us. We are in the middle, finished interviews, and hopefully we'll have a new staff member to introduce to you next board meeting. The adult softball, it's good to see this program kind of went away during COVID. It's nothing like the heydays of the 80s and 90s. I don't think it ever will be, but I think we got a strong presence going on there in the late summer, fall-ish, when everybody's kids are done playing. But that program's starting to make a comeback, which is great to see. They're out there playing at Berkeley Family, and we have 28 teams. So that's good to see, making a comeback. And pickleball courts, hopefully you guys drive by there every day. You're going to see a lot of people. So I think that was a good addition to the city of Salina. Outdoor events, USA Softball has had 3 fall tournaments, and the numbers look really, really good there. So good to see that we're utilizing Bill Burke with some good numbers. And then again, we will have, unfortunately, we did get rained out up at on the hill with dirt fields for Super 250, it's called. Back in the day, we used to play adult softball there at Bill Burke. It was one of the few events that we played there. But now that facility has just being utilized, we're playing the Super 250 up at on the hill and bringing in portable fencing for that, and that tournament has 14 teams, I believe, for this coming weekend. So it's good to bring that little event back. Be glad to answer any questions.
I did. Go ahead, Mr. Richardson.
I've got one question. On this Cornhole Special Olympics, do you get any funding from an organization called ARC, excuse me?
Go ahead, Travis.
Not aware of that. No, it's we basically was coordinating with Special Olympics organization themselves, and they came in, and I reserved some space for them and just treated it as a rental with us helping on the backside as well. But there was an organization, is it Blue Thunder?
That is my understanding. If I can
Go ahead.
take over Travis's answer, the ARC of Saline County is part of Blue Thunder Special Olympics, and we do receive funding in the form of rental fee for this event for the field house. There are some things that they use our facilities for free, like pickleball. It's a publicly available facility. They use the swimming pool in the summer but they pay a group rate, so they do use our facility. But so we collect fees from that organization, just like we do many organizations. We do like that partnership because that's kind of fits in really well with our therapeutic recreation program.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious because I know a lot of the churches in the area, they set up different fundings for the Special Olympics. And I was just wondering as to how that worked with that.
Yeah, we definitely keep fees low for ARC of Saline County for the Blue Thunder Special Olympics group. Because, personally, as a director, I find it very, very important that we have that partnership. One thing I wanted to, and I might have answered Miss Rosemary Mai's and I wish she was here. I think I kind of gave an abrupt answer to her question about shelters at the dog park. There is a item on the 2025 unapproved not approved at this point in time for shade structures at Barkley Park. Sorry. So they're not approved yet for 2025. So I cannot move forward with something that I don't have the approval to go forward with on the funding or the project.
Yep.
And that was my answer, and I should have not answered her so abruptly, and I'll apologize to her at a later time. But I wanted to give a little more of a thorough answer than.
I think you're kind of surprised by her comment, so, yeah,
No, well,
that's fine. Anything else?
that's all we have to report for activity reports, unless y'all have any questions for us.
I guess I had one. In the highlights from facility maintenance, you picked up and moved the festival mural from Salina Tech to Festival Gold Storage. I don't understand that one.
There's a partnership between Salina Downtown and Arts and Humanities Department of the City of Salina that we give some contribution to. So there's a multi-year plan there's about 15 downtown trash corrals that have electrical components in it and dumpsters. They are wood cedar shingles. The proposal 2 or 3 years back from Salina Downtown and Salina Arts and Humanities was to remove those wood shingles or wood cedar shakes to replace it with art. And there's about 4 or 5 of those accomplished already. So 2 a year is what we're moving forward on. And facilities maintenance has a portion of responsibility in that and helping make it happen, if you will. So we buy the wood. We have a funding source for the wood to replace that. It's an outdoor grade plywood, and we prime and paint it. We prepare it to be installed. We hand it over to the artist. They paint it, and then we pick it up and move it to a location so the one that's in there, that specific one, is going to be installed in the next 2 or 3 weeks behind on the pot. So whatever parking lot is behind on the pot, there's a trash corral there. And the latest and greatest trash corral mural will be installed there. Is that help answer that?
I was curious how it got out to Salina Tech. Is that where they worked on it, or?
I think that's where that group, the artists, worked on it. Yeah. We just kind of take it wherever we're told,
Okay.
and wherever the artist wants to. And
Work on it. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Anything else? As a side comment, it's been fun to watch the pickleball courts. And it's not just a certain group of people. There's all ages, families. It's just been a really interesting to watch all the different people playing. So,
Yeah, I think it's been a great success.
One quick thing for Dennis: is there going to be any rain in the future so you can actually get some grass going?
Monday.
Yeah, let's hope.
Monday.
Well, it's getting dry out there. Sure is.
Only 20%.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to new business. Jeff did a nice job at the City Commission meeting on Monday, and he's going to give us the preliminary design that he went through on that.
Yep. Thank you. This is a presentation that we've been working on since the last Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting. So regretfully, this is the first time you're going to see some of these finished drawings. But in truth, they were just finished last Thursday. We had the commission meeting on Monday. At the commission meeting, I went through this presentation that you're going to see now. They were some advanced conceptual drawings of 3 different areas at Jerry Ivey. One is a memorial, and 2 is a water wall or a water feature that has a waterfall component and a splash pad. On Monday, the City Commission did approve for us to move forward with getting bids going to bid with once construction drawings or construction documents are all prepared based on these preliminary conceptual drawings of these areas. First slide is those 3 different areas at Jerry Ivey. If you're not familiar with Jerry Ivey, so that you see in the middle there was the former pond, and then the gazebo is just south of that, and then B and C are just south of that gazebo, and then A is the entrance to Jerry Ivey Memorial Park off of Edward Street, where you would come in by the ball fields there at Salina South High School. Moving on, I'll spend a little bit of time on each of these, and I won't go through it in great detail. The memorial, using the existing memorial that's there, it's a rock and a plaque. We wanted to bring some highlights and some more pronunciation, if you will, or more of bringing it into a further detail as you enter. And we raised it up, raised the height of that with some steps, some modest steps and a modest pedestal. The same rock, same plaque with some. We have 1 flag there now. We put 3 flags there. Some landscaping improvements. And as you go through, you'll see different aerial photos of that area. Some side views looking north of that. I think the looking north photo is my favorite, just because it gives context to giving some pronounced attention to the memorial and that plaque and rock, and raising it up a little bit in height. So as you enter, you will should be the first thing you see. Let's see. So continuing on, the water wall. If you recall, I've had several conversations with this board about a water feature replacing the pond that was there, and this is the design that incorporates the water wall with the splash pad. And if you also recall, when we were planning these improvements to Jerry Ivey, we had an operational splash pad to the north of this area. What threw a curveball, and we had to pivot a little bit, was how do we incorporate a new splash pad that was going to require, the old splash pad really was going to require extensive work to remove that entire slab, redo all the plumbing, put that slab back, and the cost associated with that was somewhat prohibitive. We also recognized that that splash pad was the most popular splash pad in our system. We have 3 splash pads, and we saw the opportunity to make a more pronounced, more advanced, more accessible splash pad with better features for Jerry Ivey Park, being a destination park and being really a jewel of a park on the south side of town. So you'll see those. You see those designs there, where the water wall component coming south from the gazebo into that area, and water wall, different water. These are some water walls that are in St. Louis. Our water wall that they're conceptually planning is 8 foot wide. And it will be lit, so there is some lighting components to that as well. The next photo is at the actual current gazebo and the looking south from that gazebo. So the orange line of that photo is the construction limits, and that's the area in which we'll be working. The trees south of that many of those trees are memorial trees. So it is not our intention to remove or replace trees. We want to keep the trees that are there intact. And so getting into some more conceptual drawings of the water wall and the splash pad. Let's see, on page 11, the water wall photo kind of really gives a height. If I can go back one slide to the photo of the gazebo, you can see kind of a natural embankment where the area rises, and that natural embankment is kind of, we're using that to our advantage to get some height to the water wall component. So you'll see the photo on page 11 and the height of that water wall, where we can get some natural height of that water wall that would be above your head high. So you're looking at the water wall and enjoying that feature. Some different features that we're looking at for the splash pad or splash ground. There will be we are planning for LED components. So at night it will have some lighted features as part of the splash pad, which I think is super cool. There will be some natural components, as you can see in the bottom there. There will be a river trough. Also, some of the rock will have various bubblers and water coming out of the rock as part of a feature of the splash pad. This river trough or river channel through a splash pad is not a unique design. It is, it is somewhat unique to Kansas. However, there is another splash pad like this in Shawnee, Kansas, and they modeled some of that after this, or modeled ours after that.
I had a question on that, on the lighted spray park feature. It seems like it gets dark really late in the summer. Is it open past dark in the summer?
It is. Typically, depending on the splash pad, we open till 10 p.m.
Okay.
8 a.m. to 10 p.m. is the maximum hours.
Okay.
Depending on the activity of, we have, as I said before, we have 3 splash pads, Jerry Ivey being one of those, Hawthorne Park and Centennial Park. We tend to operate those a little earlier because of poor behavior of that splash pad. But 10 o'clock is the maximum hours in which we would feel comfortable. The park closes at 12, so we feel pretty strongly that we can, Jerry Ivey is, it would be a good candidate to have lit features and open it till 10 p.m.
Thank you.
And some of the features of the splash pad. So there's different rotating water guns, if you will. There's water features coming out of rocks. There's water features coming out of the ground. There's elevated water features. This splash pad is about approximately 3,100 square feet in size. We have Jerry Ivey splash pad, as it currently sits, is about 2,500 square feet, so it'll be a larger splash pad. It'll be the largest splash pad we have in town. Hawthorne and Centennial are approximately 2,200 square feet, so it'll be pretty significant and substantial. Plenty of seating opportunities. Matter of fact, I think we might have a little too much. I don't know if these benches are necessary in this photo. I think we have plenty of built-in seating. On the far left, you'll see a gray box-like structure. That is the mechanical room that is very important and required for a aquatics operation. Pumps and motors and valves and switches will be inside that mechanical structure. Plus, it'll be above ground, where the water vault, where all the water comes back to, is below ground. Right now, we don't have that opportunity with Jerry Ivey. Everything that we operate is underground or in a pit or in a vault, and we have to get in it to operate it. We wanted to avoid that because that offers problems relating to OSHA requirements and confined space and things like that. So it's not really the best way to operate a splash pad. And then the last aerial view of the splash pad and the water wall. As you can tell, significant landscaping improvements proposed. And then last couple pages are cost estimates. If few of you had some eagle eyes and realized that I had a typo in the cost estimate of what I sent through the email, what is the paper in front of you is a accurate cost estimate with 10% contingency for unexpected costs. We already have an unexpected number that we don't know what it is. We need to bring 3-phase power to that south location. We only have a 1-phase power. 3-phase power would, for long-term longevity of this feature, we want to bring in the 3-phase power. And plus we have better choices for electrical components to choose from, and run it more of a commercial operation rather than a commercial water park or a commercial splash pad, more so than a residential style or an apartment style. There's a few add alternates that we are proposing, which I think all three are important, actually. The area lighting and site circulation, which would be extra sidewalks, which would also remove the bagged retaining walls, bagged concrete retaining walls, and then stairs to the gazebo. So stairs on the north side of the gazebo would be added. Right now there's no stairs on the north side, but it would really increase the functionality of the gazebo to provide an area for that green space, which was the former pond. So so the cost estimates, cost estimates is about just over $1 million of what we're looking to do for this project. And the last page is a timeline. We're trying to move. We're pretty aggressive. We're trying to get construction documents by the end of the month, so staff can review them from the design and engineering firm, and get it out to bid early November. Look at those bids in December, and hopefully get to City Commission before the end of the year. So we can try to advance this timeline as fast as we can, so we can get a splash pad in at Jerry Ivey and use it between May and June sometime.
You might cover the water wall and the safety of that. It's not the area, how deep it is.
Yeah, that's a good point, Larry. Thank you. So we did have a review, a preliminary review by our loss control partner with our insurance company. They did not express many concerns. They cover splash pads all the time. They did have concerns about depth of water, which is a concern with any type of operation of a swimming pool or a water feature. The maximum depth of water is about 2.5 to 3.5 inches, 2.5 to 4. It's still being worked out with the engineering guys. And that goes for the splash pad and the water feature. So the depth of water should not be a concern for water safety purposes. Also, all the water that's going to be in this, whether it be in the water wall area or in the splash pad, would of course be filtered water, chemically treated water, and would be, what you would expect from a commercially run swimming pool. So once the full review of the loss control people, there might be other things we need to put in place, like some signage, things like that. Required rules of use, which those are pretty standard. We have to put those up. So
They'll get in with the water wall is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the intention for the water wall to not be included in the splash park.
It's not intended.
Okay.
It's intended to be one system of water, filtered
Right.
and chemically treated.
But
It's
not a
not
play
necessarily intended for it to be a recreation component, just like.
Good luck on that.
Correct.
But could it be used? Sure, it's safe to do so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was just curious to keep people out of the water wall. If I'm sure maybe the loss control people make a better determination than me, but I thought maybe there's some railings or something on the.
We had those conversations,
Okay.
And that might come up.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's something to, kind of similar to the train conversation, the train at Kenwood. This is more for observation, not for, use. This is not a playground. This is an historical object. That's in the train's case, yes. It certainly could be looked at by our loss control people that way.
Sure.
Yeah, certainly if you have comments, I will certainly pass it along to our design and engineering firm, and got a few weeks before we finish final drawings. So.
Anybody else have any comments? I think it's going to really take that park to another level. It's going to be really nice. I like how it's all tied together. The water, both of them, you're using one energy versus having two separate ones.
Yeah.
So I like the setup.
Yeah. One comment I got yesterday, which I want to make sure is be in transparency, was the original intent of the water wall was to be kind of a tranquil, quiet, something to enjoy, and it can be at certain times. But I think with the fact that we need to do something, we needed a splash pad, and we wanted to do a great splash pad. We did end up incorporating those components. And then we certainly would look at the opportunity to run the water wall component outside of the normal operating hours of the splash pad. So that I think there will be opportunities for that tranquility and that quiet noise of water that you can hear with the lighting. I think it's going to be quite special, in my opinion. So.
But the parks actually have an 11 o'clock curfew, correct?
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, okay.
There are two parks that have 11 o'clock curfew, but most all of them have 12.
So then you might shut the water down at 12 or something.
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, I think it'd look neat all the time,
And
but
then-
you might be too inviting.
Right, and seasonally as well. Splash pads usually run from May 1st through September 30th or October 1. We could be running the water wall up until, that first hard freeze. So, which would be this weekend or tonight.
Last night. Yeah.
Last night. It was hard, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cold this morning. So,
No other comments, and we'll move to the old business.
I
Gleniffer?
do have one
Oh,
comment.
go ahead.
What is the long-term intention for the old splash pad to be removed?
yes.
Sorry if I missed that.
Good question.
No, yeah, it's a good point, and I actually have another thing that I should throw in there as well. It would be, it would be removed.
Okay.
We would demo that area, and our intent would be to expand upon the current playground there that's to the north of the splash pad and make a much larger playground structure or an additional playground structure. So you almost have a dry area and a wet area, if you will. Second thing, one of the photos you'll see a old stream feature that used to be a recirculating feature for the old pond that was there that had intentions of trying to get water movement and flow. Didn't really work that way. And it was also a source of exposing dogs and kids to blue-green algae, so we shut it off a long time ago. This is not part of this. That old stream feature is not part of this design and engineering work. It'd be our intention to demo that as well, save the rock possibly, and fill it in. I don't have there's nothing that I can think of that we could incorporate that into this new design. So we would remove that. Probably, fix the sidewalk or remove the bridge, put in a sidewalk pad, things like that. So.
No other questions? We'll move to the old business, Gleniffer Hill Park status update.
So last month I did talk to you about, and you approved a recommendation to move forward with Gleniffer Hill Park and identifying that as surplus parkland and possibly making it for sale and using the proceeds of that sale to put in a playground on the north end of Indian Rock. There is a process that I had to go through from this point after that meeting, started that process. It was a different process than we would normally do. We added some additional steps in there to make sure the public and the neighborhood around Gleniffer Hill was very well informed and acknowledged that we are intending, and this is our purpose. They were sent a letter to their house within 200 feet of Gleniffer Hill Park, and it's posted on our website for 20 days. So the timeline from there, after that public notification goes out, and for the public notification happens for 20 days, we send the letters to their house. If they have feedback for us, or I thought maybe someone might be here at this board meeting today, but they were not, receive any comments, any questions from the neighborhood, and prepare that for my report to give to the City Commission on October 28th. That's the Monday, so that's a week and a half from now, and so that'll be that action item will be at that City Commission on October 28th for a resolution for the City Commission to consider to accept that, and then part of that staff report will be your recommendation and some of your comments that you provided last month. Any questions about Gleniffer Hill? So I'm kind of going through a process. From there, after it's an interesting process. After the commission would approve, if they choose to do so, there is a protest period where someone can protest for, I don't remember how many days that is offhand, but there's a protest period where someone can provide protest. If there was someone that provided a written protest, that would have another step. And then if there was no protest, then sometime in December, that protest period expires, and then the city can proceed with making that available for requests for proposals for sale of that land. So just giving you the full story there.
Any questions? We'll move on to project updates. We'll just let you go through all three of them.
Yeah, Pestinger Family Stadium, I really not a whole lot to report from last meeting. They have a few fencing things that they need to accomplish. There's some dugout fence that needs to be put in. Staff did lock Pestinger Family Stadium, so the security fencing is lockable. So it is locked from just random people coming on, and they need a reservation to use Pestinger Family Stadium. We are in the process of getting quotes for irrigation system to put around the back berm out in the center field and right field and left field, and the area in between Dean Evans and Pestinger Family Stadium. Waiting for one more quote, actually, to get that irrigation system in. Also, there's a home run fence. We call it a home run fence, but it's a safety fence to prevent balls from hurting anybody flying out of Dean Evans Stadium into the area between Dean Evans and Pestinger, because we anticipate that area being much more used than it ever had been. We have, there's a batting cage in between the fields. There's going to be kids there. There's going to be a drinking fountain there someday. So we felt out of abundance of safety, we wanted to put in that home run wall, so it'll protect balls that are potentially flying out of Dean Evans from hurting anyone. So that's something that needs to happen. What else am I missing?
In return, the foul balls out of Pestinger would get stopped also from going to Dean Evans.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, the netting would also stop foul balls from Pestinger going into Dean Evans.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about that. Yeah, never thought about that. You're right.
I've been hit by enough of them. I just
Staff elected not to put up the hitting cage net and everything until next season, just to save it a winter from deteriorating.
Good point. but it is there. It's part of the package.
There's
Just
bullpens on each side of the dugouts, correct?
correct.
Okay.
For both Dean Evans and Pestinger.
That's really nice setup.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I think there's some staff training to do with lighting. I think we did scoreboards already. So it's coming to a close. Kenwood Park bathrooms. We started, I think there was a note in the activity reports about we started epoxy floor and walls inside the Kenwood Park bathroom. Working on some electrical work in there for that whole park, actually. We found some problems with the electrical system there, so we're getting that resolved. And then once epoxy happens, it's really a quick process. After that, it's that means plumbing's done, rough electrical's done. We would do the epoxy floor and the walls, put in new partitions, new toilet fixtures, do some exterior improvements, and then we're moving on next to Oakdale. Almost said Oakwood. Oakdale Park. And right now they're doing design architectural drawings for that Oakdale bathroom that was near the former tennis courts. That's the next bathroom we're getting done, so we can get that done before Riverfest of next year, which we should have plenty of time. But it is a much bigger bathroom.
I'm not a connoisseur of bathrooms, but all of them that you've done is really nice. It makes them very much, to me, more usable and friendly.
Well, those were some of our objectives. Air turnover, easy cleanability, smells. Nice newer modern fixtures, well lit areas. So we have putting in lighting, so it's going to be, I think someone joked with me about I'm going to be the, or even Dennis too. We're going to be the guys who brought in new bathrooms. That's what we're going to be known for. But it's not it's Troy Reinert, who's our facility maintenance supervisor, our superintendent. He's the one leading that project, and he's doing a great job.
Plumbing is very important.
What? I'm sorry?
Plumbing is very important.
Yeah, plumbing is very important, yes. Yeah. Last one I got, I don't have anything to really report. I included it on here, but I just want to keep it in. Should be in November. We should be getting some word back about timeline to put in that lightning detection system over by the Kenwood Park, Oakdale Park area. So if there's something I missed about any updates, please let me know. And I gave the Jerry Ivey update, so that's where we're at with that. We're pretty close on having to go to bid for an additional dog park on the north end of town to replace the dog park that's currently behind the animal shelter. Brett and I looked at those drawings yesterday, gave some feedback. They're going to do some final improvements. Got to make some determination about water, other than utilities. So we should be going to bid with that hopefully pretty soon. We anticipate material costs for that to be about $150,000, and that will be paid for from the Animal Services donation fund.
And that will be in the same park as the current one in the north?
Correct.
But just a different area?
Yeah, just to the south a little more, in between the parking lot for Carver Center and the Baker Distribution, that company that's there. That's all city property. It's unused, undeveloped area. That's all I have.
Any other questions?
Board has more.
There's a nice letter from Carlos.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What-
Yes,
yeah.
that was last minute. I just got that yesterday. I don't think Dennis has actually seen that.
It's on the back page.
Yeah. So it was addressed to Dennis and I.
Thank you.
I've been walking Sunset Park on Saturdays for the last few months. What a beautiful park. Thank you for your team of caretakers for the park. This last Saturday, there was a young gal there from the city of Salina pruning bushes and taking care of plantings. I visited with her and thanked her for her efforts. Please let her know she was doing a great job. So I got that yesterday. I wanted to include it in the package just to show the board. And give kudos to Dennis and his team.
I do have a question on Sunset. With the tennis and where it's at now, is there any intention for the old tennis courts there at Sunset at all?
Well, yes. Within this month or early November, those the horseshoe pits that are at Sunset and the tennis courts are going to be demolished.
Okay,
So we are removing those areas and
Okay.
restoring it back to soil and grass.
okay,
The tennis courts at Sunset are in the poorest condition of any of our old tennis courts. It's an asphalt base,
Right.
and there are cracks in there at least 2 to 3 inches wide. And we are taking it out.
okay,
We have had some internal conversations about what we want to do there in the future. It is going to require some public input from the neighborhood because they're very passionate about Sunset Park. And so I'll leave it at that for now.
okay. We used it a couple weeks ago. We intended to use the basketball court for like a little futsal and used it for that, and found it very purposeful. Obviously it needs to be resurfaced with the cracks and everything, but
Yeah.
it was kind of nice to have that outside of, the field house. It was kind of nice to have a hard surface for the boys just to kind of get together and
Yeah.
not be out at Magnolia, but
Right.
have something a little different.
Yeah.
So,
And that is so the basketball court is not going away.
just the horseshoe. and
Just the horseshoe area and the tennis area.
Okay.
It's with the intention of a future improvement for those areas. At this point in time, we don't know what those future improvements would be.
Well, there's an idea for you.
The majority of the neighborhood comments were of the same nature of the comments that you just provided, where that's what they desire. Does what-
I've lived in that area, and seeing people in that park all the time and kids and things, it would be great for that area to have something. The basketball court's in use all the time, so
What are your thoughts about sand volleyball courts at Sunset Park?
that's
Just throwing it out there. To the board, not to all of you, actually, so. No comment, check.
I guess, do we have sand volleyball courts? Remind me. Oh, they were over at Jerry Ivey.
They were
and
at Jerry Ivey.
They now
and
are tennis
they,
courts.
They got
South End.
consumed by the tennis courts.
Did people use them a lot?
Have you had a lot of people
Yeah.
asking where they're at?
There's a I wouldn't say a large community of sand volleyball users, but there is a pretty strong group of sand volleyball users. We do have one sand volleyball court at Centennial Park, and they use that quite a bit. It's been our intention to put those courts back.
Back at Jerry Ivey.
Is that what you mean?
You put them back at Jerry Ivey, or just put sand volleyball courts back someplace.
Our original intention, and I think I've shared with this board, that it was our intention to put them back where they, in the same south end of Jerry Ivey.
Right.
Most recently, with the evolution of this project to the Jerry Ivey project, we anticipate these being so busy on the south end that we're kind of looking at, I wouldn't say we're looking at options. We're just, taking a harder look at, sand volleyball on the south end of Jerry Ivey. When we already have tennis courts, we have this nice splash pad. Parking is going to be used for those purposes. Sand volleyball events, which are a handful a year, they're large. They do large tournaments in sand volleyball. So is that the best use of that space if we were to cram all that activity into one? So put your thinking caps on, I guess.
Back behind the basketball courts to the south and maybe west, there's looks like some track and field things there. Are those used? They are?
That is a sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a agreement with the city with Kansas Wesleyan.
Okay.
And those are their improvements that we allowed them to make. as a license agreement for them to do those, to use that area for track and field.
Okay. I've never seen anybody there, so I didn't know.
It's seasonally based on the sport. So it's spring, you said? Spring, yeah.
Anything else? Take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second it?
Ann and Bruce. Bruce and Ann. All right, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
And